Welcome back to the Stephen Knight Show. I want to thank you for tuning in tonight. We have another show of hot topics. We got to talk about everything going on with the presidential election, Diddy, and more. We'll remind you all over Facebook, X, and of course, IG, the Stephen Knight Show. Please tune in on our YouTube page, the Stephen Knight Show. Please comment, subscribe, and let us know what you think about our topics. Also, want to make sure you are registered to vote. It's so important, not just for the president's election, but down the board. You can go to vote.org and you can find out the status of your vote. And it's important because they're taking people's names off of taking their names off, the registration. So you want to make sure that you are registered and able to vote as soon as you can. This month is Hispanic Heritage Month. It's actually from September 15th to October 15th. So shout out to all of our Latin brothers and sisters. We appreciate you. All right. Family, y'all doing good?
Great. It's Monday.
Muy bien. Muy bien.
Lania's out tonight, but she'll be back next week. Our question of the day is, can you date someone your friend has dated? I'll start with you, Brittany.
Absolutely not. No.
You can't do it. What about you?
Me and one of my best friends, we actually did that. Like, it didn't work out for me, but who's to say if it didn't work out for me, it couldn't work out for whomever else. And they wind up being together for quite some time, longer than we would have been. So,
I think it depends.
Death Row Records over here. Once I'm with you, you can't go to nobody else. No.
Also, I think it depends. Like, did y'all go out on a date and it just didn't work out, or were y'all dating? You know what I mean?
So we didn't have a love affair. You know what I mean? It wasn't that. It was we went out on a couple of dates, we spent some time together, and it just didn't work out. But who am I to say that it wouldn't work out for somebody else? If it happened to be my best friend, why not?
That's a very mature way of thinking about it. But yeah, you're right. Well, go to our ex Stephen Knight Show SHO and let us know, can you date someone your friend has already dated? All right, so we all saw the first presidential debate. It was actually the second one, because the first one was between Joe Biden and Trump, and it subsequently led to Biden stepping down. We saw the second one between Harris and Trump, and she walked the dog on him. But of course, he said that he won both debates. And right after the second debate with Harris, she said, let's do it again. He said he wasn't sure, and then he said he wasn't going to do it. Well, CNN has come out and has invited both of them to debate on October 23rd. And they thought it might be a good idea with CNN because he thought CNN did a good job last time because what happened with Biden. Harris jumped to it and said, yeah, let's do it. There's a lot to discuss. Trump says it's too late because early voting's already started. Now, mind you, in 2020 and 2016, he did late debates after voting had already started. But do you think they should debate? Do you think that it stands a purpose, Chike?
You can never have too much information. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's what those debates are designed to do. They're designed to give us information.
Yeah.
And I'm speaking to the listeners and the people that are watching. You got to beware of somebody who doesn't want to give you full disclosure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why doesn't he want to debate? Question that. Mm-hmm. Because it's about information. What doesn't he want you to know? Or what doesn't he want to expose?
Yeah.
If he won the last one, he should be able to win the second one, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. What are your thoughts, Brittany?
I do think they should go again. I think that from what I heard online, a lot of people still left confused from the debate. And so I think that, like Chike said, you can never get too much information or clarity on things. And so, yeah, and I do think that it did do a disservice with one of the debates being with Biden and the other one with, with Kamala. So I do think that they should go again. So.
Yeah, because, I think the first debate, what they did together, it was more of her showing that she could stand up to him because people were thinking he's going to, dog walk her. And so she tried to put out policy, but really it was more of a showing the difference in two candidates in terms of temperament. And I think this debate could be more focused on policies. So it could be a good thing because some people they really do like her, but some people just don't know her policies, even though it's out there. And if they listen to her campaign stop, she talks about them. But everyone doesn't watch that. You know what I mean? So,
Mhm.
last time, what was it? 60 million people watched the first debate, or was it 70 million? One of them watched the first debate. The one with her and him. So could be a good thing. But I don't think Trump wants that smoke again. That's why. All right, well, our girl. In a recent interview, the legendary singer Janet Jackson spoke of hearing that VP Kamala Harris is not Black. The interviewer told Janet that we could be on the verge of voting in our first Black female president. Janet responded, well, you know what they supposedly said. She's not Black. That's what I've heard. She's Indian. Her father's white. That's what I was told. I mean, I haven't watched the news in a few days. I was told that they discovered her father was white. Now, it's been known, Kamala has talked about this, that her mother is Indian. And she wrote in her book, her Indian mother was well aware that she was raising Black girls, talking about her and her sister, and her father was Jamaican. But Janet also said that regardless of who wins, she thinks it'll be mayhem either way, whether Kamala wins or Trump. Now, she got a lot of backlash after this interview. I went on her Instagram. They were eating her up because she's on tour. People saying they're not going to their concert, that you lost a fan. They were really just going in. And they were talking, Dale Hughley made a comment about her nose, saying that she's breathing out of a white woman's nose, because she's had, I guess, the surgery. And that people have talked about how Michael's kids and a lot of their kids are not Black, in their opinion. So this is someone who has been not problematic really, but one statement can can do this backlash. Brittany, what do you have to say to our sister Janet?
And I think it's funny. I think that I saw a comment.
Yeah.
One person was like, "We let Michael die, a Chinese lady, so please leave us be." And so
No.
they've been going
I
in. But then I
know.
saw another interview where she didn't even know what flaming hot Cheetos was. She had
Mm-hmm.
never heard of that. And so I do think like even Wayne had an interview one time where he didn't know where who another celebrity was or somebody. I do think that they can kind of be in their own little bubble sometimes to where they are not abreast of information. And I
Yeah.
do think that that's just more so like with the election coming up, she's doing herself a disservice not being aware of the candidates, but I don't think that it deserves all that she's getting. I just think she lives in a bubble. So
And let me point out that, when the first comments came out, everyone was like, what, Janet, what are you doing? And then someone from her camp came out and apologized on her behalf. And we're like, okay, cool. But then they double back and said that that person is not Janet's manager, and he was subsequently fired for trying to defend Janet. And he went out and said I was fired by Janet and Randy Jackson for trying to clean up this mess. So she has not spoken out publicly on where she really stands. Because the thing is, she didn't say anything bad about Harris in terms of policy. It was more so about her race, which I think that's what threw people off. Chicky, what are your thoughts?
Everything is in context, and I love Janet. I've loved Janet forever.
Yeah.
However, let's keep in mind she's clawing her way back from a blackballing.
Mm-hmm.
So she really couldn't have afforded this.
Right.
She needed better PR people in her camp. Randy, what are you doing? What are you
Mm-hmm.
doing?
Yeah.
Not that you can control your big sister or little sister, sorry. Not that
Yeah.
you can control your little sister. However, when her career is on the line and she's just getting back into the fray, maybe you want to stay away from politics.
Yeah.
That hasn't really, I mean, it's kind of been Janet's foray because, she's put out political stuff before. Rhythm Nation was a whole political album.
Right.
But you're too new in the game to be jumping in this fray. And it's too sensitive. And
Yeah.
who cares if she was green?
Right. And my thing is this: if the interviewer says, we're on the verge of voting for our first Black president, she could have said, I don't know much about her. I'm still doing my research. She didn't have
And
to say anything when I heard that she's not Black.
can I just clear up something for the people that don't know? Her mother is Indian. Her father is Jamaican. In this country, you are Black. No matter what is in your blood, if you have a little bit of Black in you, they consider you Black. It's actually written down on paper.
Yeah.
And you want the woman to state out her mouth who she is. She's multi-raced. But the culture that she lives in this country is a Black culture. So
Mhm.
she is a Black woman.
Right.
Period.
And people say she just became Black. She has always identified as a Black woman. Always. Always identified as a Black woman. People need to do their research. And they need to go to Jamaica, where I went to a museum where they talked about the history of where African Jamaicans came from Africa.
Hello. Hello.
I do think that that does say to something like being like a few different races myself. We just blend with Creole because it's just a melting pot, right?
Right.
But I mean, I grew up with people who always was like Spanish Creole, or I'm mixed with this, or
Mhm.
I'm like, just because you claim one aspect of your heritage, I claim Black, right? So that doesn't mean I denounce that there are not gay people in my family, or if you show up, you might see some Asian people. It's
Mhm.
plenty of times my son will go home to Houston and be like, it's some white people here for Christmas. And
Mhm.
we just don't know where they come from, but we know that we are mixed, but we always
Right.
say we're Black. So
Yeah.
I do think that if Kamala chose to identify as Indian all through college and then said, okay, well, I'm recognizing now that my father was Black, I'm going to do Indian and Black. What difference does it make? Like, I just feel like
Cousin.
it just
Right.
makes it, people do that all the time. Like I grew up with people doing it. I don't get it. So
Yeah. But mind you, she went to HBCU and she pledged AKA. I mean,
She's immersed in the culture. She's
yeah,
immersed in the Black culture. So
exactly.
she's living a Black life.
Exactly. All right. Well, another artist under fire, the right there rapper Chingy. Um, he was scheduled, people noticed that he was scheduled to perform at a Republican fundraiser called Red, White, and Rock in Nashville. And he was going to be perform alongside prominent MAGA supporters like Donald Trump Jr. But after fans learned about the scheduled performance would be September 29th, many were quick to criticize him. But he spoke out to defend himself. He said, I'm going to say this one time. My job is to perform and I get paid to perform, not care about politics. Now, y'all find something else to do with your time. He also added that music isn't racist, and that's how I play it. He said, all this nonsense y'all creating bothers me none. I'm a performer. Whether these people are political, homosexual, or whatever, they all love music. I have classic records they love, and I'll perform for them. So I hope that helps you understand that my job as an artist to perform and make timeless music that I did. Well, it seems like the comments did get the best of him because hours later, he shared that he would no longer be attending the event. He wrote on a blog, you know what? Just because I don't want to be in the middle of this mess, I have declined performing and I'm not no Trump supporter nor supporter of anyone else but Chingy. There you have it. So, should an artist be able to perform if they're hired to perform? Should they be able to hire without backlash, or does it say something because you're attending an event of someone who a lot of people think is racist, etc.? What are your thoughts, Brittany?
I'm glad I got to go first because PK always gives the high road. I do think that you should be able to have whatever political view you have. And I think that we have become such a polarized country to where you're either this or this. And there's no like in the middle. I remember where I kind of straddled the line. Like sometimes I did have Republican views on things. Sometimes I did have Democratic views on certain aspects. I think that we have lost a time where people are entitled to, pick a side how they feel fit and be on that side. They blackballed Chrisette Michelle. And I understand the detriment of it right now. Like, I get it. It can't be Trump for numerous of reasons. We'd rather vote for a rock. I can completely get it. But I do think that at the end of the day, it's not a cult. Like, you are entitled to go out and vote however you feel and have your own political opinion without having to feel like your career is going to suffer behind it. I don't think that that's fair. I do think he made a wise decision because right now this is the climate. Um, and even then, when Taylor Swift came out and Trump said, "I hate Taylor Swift," and then he edited Kamala's photo on that picture with Diddy.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's just so much you're either this or that. And I think that it's taken away from the class of politics. And I also don't like the fact that it seems like all the political candidates are going for all the Black artists. They're putting all the Megan Thee Stallions. They're gonna go for Glorilla. They're gonna go for all of these Black artists and make it as urban as possible is what I feel like when I'm watching it. And I just feel like I don't like that either. So I do think that I have a lot of opinions about it. And I don't know.
Chike?
To answer that point that you just made, Brittany, what they know, which a lot of us don't realize, some of us realize, our culture moves the world. Everyone wants to be like us. So yes, they're going to reach out to us because the culture is bomb. That's just what it is. The other thing to that is, if you have a fan base that brings you to where you are, and that fan base tells you that they don't like what you're doing, it's your choice to listen to them or not, and it could be at your own peril, especially in this culture of cancellation. Even before this, I'm going to go back in time a little bit and go back to Whitney Houston when she released that second album that Clive Davis designed for her, and it just wasn't hitting on Black. Yes, Whitney Houston can sing down. She's the greatest voice ever. People were booing her. She didn't like that. What did she do her next album? I need Babyface to fix this for me. I need to go Black.
No, you're
What
reading.
year was that? Because I don't know how old I
Whatever
was.
album is so emotional, that album.
Her second album, it was called Whitney. It was her second album in
They
'87.
were not feeling it.
She got
Okay.
booed at the Soul Train Awards when they announced her as a nominee.
So
I was born in '87.
everything that you do is a choice, but you have to know that there's a consequence for the action that you make.
Mm-hmm.
You're free to do whatever it is that you want to do, but I think that an artist that Chingy's been around for a while, so I'm going to call him a legacy artist. He's had a run. Why would you jeopardize one check for future checks?
Mm-hmm.
Because once you get canceled and you get canceled over something where you didn't recognize your Blackness or you turned your back on your Blackness, there's a consequence to pay for that.
Yeah. It's, and to go back to what you said, Brittany, about the celebrities that they're reaching out to, Oprah had a big special with Kamala Harris last week, and she had Meryl Streep there, Julia Roberts, Tracee Ellis Ross, a lot of big name people were there in support. So I think what they're doing is looking at all groups. What moves the internet and what gets the clickbait are the younger generation. So you get that.
And to be fair, Stephen, the framework of media is framing this as a do or die situation, and people are taking it as that. So yes, it's either one side or the other. Right. It's either Project 2025 or you get with the Harris Walls campaign.
Exactly. And
I can appreciate an Oprah special with the diversity.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be
diverse.
It doesn't have to be the whole Sexy Red, Megan Thee Stallion, everybody coming out, and then it just be like that was very urban. Like it's clear who you are trying to catch on to.
I think with the Megan Thee Stallion, it was here in Atlanta. You look at the population, you know what I mean? So they were kind of catering to the population, but also Trump.
And then you have also, Stephen, too, Brittany, you have to realize we are the majority of the vote. Brown people are the majority of the vote. They're minority.
But so Trump had this Latin artist, I can't think of his name, and he's trying
Ryan Garcia or something like that, or Ryan. It was a very Natalie, or it was some vague name where he couldn't tell if
I
it was
thought
a
it was
male or
like a
female.
sexy B or sexy something like
It
that.
was something. We have it on Instagram. But anyway, so he's trying to get the Latin vote.
Mm-hmm.
And he was announcing him, but said, she's smoking hot. She's smoking hot. Where is she? Come up to the stage. It was a gentleman. I've heard he since has rescinded his endorsement because he was embarrassed. You don't know
And
who's
then,
coming.
and to that point, some of these people get pulled into the campaign, and they're getting pulled into the campaign for what they represent, and
Yeah,
that's why they're there. But I do think I'm pretty sure on the Walls, I mean Harris Walls campaign, Kamala's a fan like of these
yeah.
people. They get
Mhm.
pulled in for genuineness, not because they want
Yeah,
the clicks or the likes or the fans.
exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's so important. And I think that when you look at Project 2025 and look at some of the things that Trump is talking about doing, it was funny. I was watching Jasmine Crockett. She was, someone was testifying and she asked, can I ask you a yes or no question? Is Trump's name, because Trump says he knows nothing about Project 2025, although half his cabinet helped write it. He said, is Trump named in Project 2025? And the woman said, she said, no, yes or no? Yes or no? Yeah, he's written there quite a few times. She said, do you know how many times? She said, no, but quite a few. She said, if I said over 300 times, would you debate that? She said, no, that'd probably be accurate. He's all in there. He is all in there. So anyway, but make sure you vote. That's the important thing. Make sure you vote. It's very important. Make sure you do your research too. Because one thing, I see sometimes on TikTok, I see a lot of people's just spewing all kinds of conspiracies and lies. But it came out that Russia has spent millions of dollars paying influence online to do that. They're trying. We have foreign sources trying to be involved. Move our election. So make sure you're doing your research and you're staying out your own algorithm and paying attention because it's very important. Well, we'll come back and find out what Al B. Shore is saying he needs done with Kim Porter. Right back after this.